This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're even pondering, loosely considering making a change to your living space, or maybe moving somewhere, a new spot, maybe you're looking to renovate a building for a business, whatever it might be, you are going to need an architect to help you plan that out and get it ready for construction or renovation. I found somebody who does this in a full service capacity, but wait, there's more. And I really do mean there's more, and it's fantastic. He offers initial services for a very nominal fee, calls it the Design Council. And that's the starting point to jump into the architecture journey or the architect journey. We're going to learn more from him. Learned so much, even since we've gotten together in the last podcast. Nichols is back on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing outstanding, really great, and love to share some more stories and processes with our viewers and listeners.
So let's get it out of the way now, and we'll circle back to it later. $400, and this is not act now. We're selling something. No, you're providing a service to help people out and get a better idea of the direction they might be able to go in. Which I've never heard of this before. I think it's fantastic. Think of what's on the line when you're redesigning a space, the money that has to go into the construction of it. How great is it to start at this level to give you ideas? What do you provide for that $400 fee?
Well, Steve, as you can tell, I'm part of the no hair, gray hair group. And with my 4 decades of experience, plus I want to give back to the viewers and my listeners out there. And I've found over the years, everybody is a little bit afraid to contact Mr. Architect. So over the years, I've developed my design counsel service where I would go to someone's house, I would walk the property, I'm going to ask some questions, they would share their vision. And we're going to try to do that with a long distance virtual service now called Design Counsel Service. So what would happen is the homeowner or even building owners that have smaller buildings and don't know what to do with them nowadays, they'd give us a call and say, hey, how do you work? I'd say, well, first thing we need to do is understand your vision, your dream, whatever it might be. How do you want to feel if you do a project when you walk through your space? So I will need you to send me a photograph of the front of the house, the 2 sides of the house, and perhaps show the boundaries next to the neighbors. Those are called setback property lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll then have a little chat on the phone and you'll share your vision. I want to do an addition. I want to bump out. I want to have a garage. I'm looking to put an accessory dwelling unit for grandma and grandpa on the property. And once I understand, we would do I think through the phone computer charge, credit card, whatever. Then I would take your photographs, any sketches you might give me, and your list of wishes, and I'm going to sit down with it for a couple of hours and go, here's the addition, here's what it would do. You could vault the ceilings. You have a certain style home, whether it's a farmhouse, something with a hipped roof on it, Dutch colonial, mid-century modern, or even a split level. Because people generally want the same item in their house. They want it to work better. So once we do that, I send it back to you. And it's filled with ideas. There'll be some boilerplate sheets that talk about the process of a design and building permits and things like that. So I'm educating you, number one. I'm giving you actual potential design solution to it. I might even have built a home similar to that of my 450 plus projects in various neighborhoods. So it's a starter service. It lets our people work with locals. I might be able to suggest some people through an organization I'm with. Or if you wanted to come back to me, I can take it to the next level, which would be a full-blown schematic design. In today's show, we're going to explain what I have to go through as an architect and what does schematic design mean, what does permit drawings mean, and you'll have a pretty good understanding. So these podcasts are meant as an educational piece for folks, and if they pursue things with me, they will have a potential solution. And I think it's pretty exciting to help the folks.
100%. And for that fee, you could get an idea as a homeowner or somebody looking to make a change, somebody could get an idea from you that could be worth hundreds
Mhm.
of thousands of dollars that maybe they didn't even realize, or they could be saving a ton of money because they didn't speak with anybody. They have no idea. You're here to give the vision and then see where it goes from that point. So let's walk through that process. What happens? Somebody engages you. They say, "Hey, Gaver, I'm looking to make a change here, whatever the change is." What happens next?
Well, for example, I'll use a real story. I was up in
Sure.
Baltimore on Saturday. I had actually paid for a lead from a gentleman who had a warehouse. Now, for me, a warehouse is a pretty funky, cool building to play with because it got heavy timbers, high ceilings, brick building. Baltimore has its ups and down neighborhoods. I was actually born in Baltimore. I'm about 40 miles away. And I went up and visited with the gentleman, and we walked his building. So we're walking through this. I get excited. He has a vision. We're throwing them back and forth, just like my viewers or listeners will do on the phone with me with their project locally. And I start talking real things. So he goes, "Well, I want to blow it out over here and put this, bring a new wall and put a new floor." And I'm like, "Yeah, but sir, that's your south side of your building. The sun will come into the warehouse windows that are already there. That's why the building was indented." So someone has a house, like someone this week that I spoke to has a house in North Carolina. He wants to put an addition on the back of his home. The front has a hipped roof, so that's kind of a four square house. So there's four corners that go to a peak. It's like a pyramid on the top of your home, to put it in layperson's language. I haven't talked to him again today, but I can look at the survey he sent me and said, "Uh-oh, you are like 2 feet from the property line. That means I may not be able to build this without a zoning variance," which I would educate the folks to. Um, just so people know, in your property, when you buy it, there's controls that the government puts on your land. These are called zoning regulations. They're meant to control light, air, and space around your home. Many of the homes in America were built prior to zoning codes, so they're violating the code in some way or another, and we have the relief of going through a zoning variance, of which I've done many of those. So if someone was to send me a photograph and it was like this gentleman's, where I can see immediately he has a zoning issue, that alone is worth $400. The
Right?
next thing that the jurisdictions have is they have something called lot coverage requirements, or what's called floor area ratio requirements, FAR. It's over the head of our viewers right now, but these are the things that prevent McMansions, monster homes being built to smaller homes. So once again, this gentleman, I'll look at his zoning code, or he'll share with me, and I'll say, "I think you can do it. The only thing you got is you're really stuck on the zoning issue. You're a foot from the line, and we're going to need to get some relief." Most of the jurisdictions will say, "Well, this was a pre-existing condition. We're going to pass it." Just so my viewers know, I was on a zoning board as a chair, vice chair for 8 years, so I'm kind of like pretty well known at that stuff. Now, let's say it's an easy process where you've got a house like someone I dealt with down in Lynchburg, Virginia. They had a home. I mentioned it last week, where they wanted to have one level living. They're older. And they said, "Gee, I got a 3-story house. It's historic. It's on 60 acres. What do I do with it?" Well, um, I said it's difficult to add a 1-story addition to a 3-story building, because it's like me being a 5'6" guy standing to a 6'5" guy. The transition is kind of awkward. So in the old days, historically, New England homes had bigger house, intermediate addition, lower addition. So we call that a hyphen. I would step the roofs down. I'll show you later in the show a project where, like the one I just spoke about, we're going to try to put an addition on the back of a home, and I'll show people how to get extra height and things like that. So we talk on the phone, we ask questions, we need to understand the people's vision. Um, we'll share a couple of ideas and get them excited. They might need to think about it a day or so. They call me back and say, "Let's do the $400 design council service. We'll do the paperwork." And then they have sent me the photographs, their vision, and perhaps a survey, or at least something where I can tell what the background setbacks are. And I go to town. Some people want a modern addition. Some people want a contextual addition that looks like we didn't do anything to the house. It was always there. Um, each client is different. I've done them where people flip and put in a row home. They had the master bedroom in the basement. The first floor had the monster kitchen looking to the view, and the upper floor had an art gallery, art studio for somebody. So everybody's got a different niche. Um,
Gabriel,
Light,
I want to go back to that initial um, example you gave. How do you know what the setbacks are when somebody first engages you? How do you know what the boundaries are and all of that?
okay. It's kind of based on my 4 decades of experience that most zoning codes around the country are written in similar manners.
Oh,
They're generally notebooks of about 3 inches, and each person has a district they live in. Usually it's a residential district or a commercial district, and there's subcategories. Generally, with the in-town smaller lots, I know the setback's going to be anywhere from 5 feet to 10 feet on each side of the house. Um, yeah, I live in Alexandria, Virginia, and work here, and I've got property in Cambridge, Maryland. Each of the jurisdictions are very similar, so I will take a guesstimate on my people, like the guy in North Carolina. He's a foot away. I already know he violates a setback, but the whole house violates it. So he had what's called a pre-existing condition. So generally setbacks are 25 to 30 feet in the front, 7 to 10 on the sides, and it's probably a one-to-one relationship to the height of the building off the rear. Generally,
hmm.
there might have been alleys where I could go to the midpoint of the alley. I've done 134 zoning cases, which
Wow.
means I've done them in Baltimore, Virginia, New Jersey, where I've actually owned some property. So as you get older, you go, oh, this looks like that guy's zoning book. This looks like that guy's zoning book. So they each kind of have a predestined
Sure.
document they generally modify and then they change it. What you're seeing happen around the country right now to those people that might be older or even the young folks looking to expand their properties is called the missing middle housing. There is a push for us around the country to allow homeowners to have more density, more rentable units on their property to help folks who are just starting out, or maybe folks that are baby boomers and want to retire on their property and their kids take over the main house. So I will ask specific questions to each individual that calls me about their neighborhood. They can call the local zoning office, and there's generally a zoning person who will talk to them, no charge, and give them the parameters of their property. They can then share with
Excellent.
me, and they've got a more exact solution. But if someone just was looking for quick advice, I'm going to use my experience in generalities to generate a solution for them.
I had
No
no
problem.
idea that a lot of this is similar around the country in terms, with latitude, in terms of the setbacks. And I totally get it. I bought a house years ago and the shed was in the middle of the yard.
You
Why?
can move that to the property line now.
Well, they put the shed on PVC and rolled it to the
Uh-huh.
middle of the yard and said, "You do whatever you want with it, but we needed to get a CO, and it was up against a buffer of land, which it was within it violated the setback a little bit. So with a bunch of friends, beer and pizza, moved it back in the position it was. And when I sold that house, I went to the town, went to the hearing, paid the $500, got the variance, and easy peasy, and it was all good. But so now I get it. Now I
So
understand.
it's there's a process now. As a designer, architect for many decades, this wasn't learned overnight.
Sure.
This is learned through, oh, this one gives us a problem. Oh, that one's easy. So now what I can walk on a job site and go, all right, zoning, height, setback, lot coverage problems already, or you have good problems, which is none. And I tell people that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyway,
Wow.
um,
Can you show us one of the sketches, the which is part of the Design Council $400
yeah,
initial fee, where
sure.
they give you the information, kind of what they're looking for, and then this comes next.
Okay, this is a one pager here. You're going to see color yellow, I hope. Hopefully this comes through and you're going to see red. This was from a builder that's custom building a home with a client of mine, and he oftentimes will buy a house, renovate it, and resell it. And within this particular neighborhood, I know within 10 minutes what he can do with it. So this is a partial deliverable of the service I would give you. So if the folks can see this,
Yep, I can see it. And for anybody that's listening, you're holding
okay,
up
now
a
you see
page.
the house at the top, and you see how it had a closed-in porch?
Yes.
Well, my concept is to open it back up to a porch and extend it where the car could be covered.
Love that.
Okay, now you'll see all that gray handwriting on the left side of the page there,
Yep.
right side. That's me just going through the zoning book, going, here's my setbacks, here's my lot coverage, here's my height requirements, and I've determined there's no issues with this project. So it's easy for this builder to make an offer to purchase the home. If you look at the bottom piece of the sketch, you see yellow.
And can you move that up a little bit? Because it's getting cut off that one section with the yellow. Got it right there. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so the yellow is actually my sketch addition for a two-story addition that would include a bedroom on the top floor, master with vaulted ceilings. It would have a master bathroom and a master closet. I've done it many, many, many times. Downstairs, you see where I have that red line? I've actually stepped down 2 steps to give the height of the first floor 9 feet versus 8, and that goes to a rear deck with a little pergola structure on the back of it.
Lift up if you could a little bit, please, so I can just see the bottom of that. Okay. Gotcha. Wow.
Does that work very well for you?
Yeah. Seeing it. It's clear. Wow.
Okay. So to our viewers, conceptually, there's a book out there you might want to buy. And give me 1 second.
Sure.
It's called A Field Guide to American Houses. Now, in this book, I call it the Bible, but you can go through it and you'll see pictures of any
Wow.
style of home that was built. So if you have a home like this, it gives you details on what and how to add to that house. They do make it in a paperback format. Mine's pretty well worn because a lot of times people have what I call a house that's befuddled. And I use my bald head and say, hey, if I tried to fix my head with hair plants, transplants on top of it, I'm not going to look that good because half my head would still look stupid. So sometimes people have a home where somebody just tacked on something to a home. They don't may not have the budget to demolish it, and I'm tasked with how do I incorporate it into a new addition or tear the roof off and reshape it a little bit. So it's not that easy to do. You need someone with my 4 decades of experience to do it for you. But it comes from just saying, hey, I was in the field as a builder. We got height up in our ceilings. Let's vault them. Let's give the people some light and air. Let's give them taller ceilings. Most of the homes in America that are older were built when people were shorter, like 6 foot and less. Now
Wow.
the kids are 6 foot 4, 5, 6, and 8. An 8 foot ceiling doesn't feel very well to them. So you're seeing homes built now with 9 foot and 10 foot ceilings when they're built new, but people with an old house don't have that capability. So oftentimes I can step down 2 steps into the rear addition and give them that 9 foot in their great room.
So I want to ask in terms of what people are asking for. Open concept, is that still a thing? And because I'm hearing it both ways now. I'm hearing because more families are blended, kids are coming back. A lot of people are asking for, let's get away from that and let's have separate areas because let's say your son is 28, living back home. He's in his own space there, whether it's a den watching TV, video games, whatever it might be. What are you hearing? What are you
Here's,
seeing?
here's what I'm seeing. I have one going up right now, which is called a semi-detached house. That means there's a common party wall between Unit A and Unit B. What we did is we have it, the basement is laid out with like a great room, potential bedroom, full bath, laundry, and storage. Okay. Next floor up, where it's still attached, we have a first floor bedroom slash home office, doors on it, closet, and it usually intersects or talks to another bathroom. So if you are living on the first floor, you're older, it works. If you have a visitor, it's a guest room. But a lot of times people use it as a home office. It's a swing space. Dining rooms are still in a little bit. We have doors on them. We can open and close them. There's a lot of glass. Um, you have your main kitchen, which usually talks to and is part of the bigger great room at the back of the house. And we're starting to put in what is called sculleries or a back kitchen. That's where you can basically,
Hmm.
if you had a party, you've got some folks helping you out there, or there's extra refrigerator, ovens, dishwashers, things like that. These are in new homes. In our renovations, we sometimes do the same, but a renovation on the first floor usually has new family room, new powder room, new kitchen, kind of an open floor plan. We zone the front where the bedroom office is by itself. That might have been a dining room in the old days. And we have the living room, which I call it a museum room because most people don't use it. It's people walk in and go, doesn't that look great? Now let's go to the family room. Upstairs, we're beginning to go towards where every bedroom might have its own bathroom or a shared Jack and a Jill bathroom. In your older homes, many of the builders just build flat ceilings. I vault them. You'll be surprised at what a taller ceiling will do to a small space. I live in an all original farmhouse. I vaulted my whole second floor ceilings. They were 7 foot 6 inches to begin with. Now they're 12 feet at the peak of the roof. So a small room can feel large. A big man can feel comfortable, and you kind of work with what you got. Um, I'm a believer of bringing light in, bringing air in. Sorry about that. I've got you on the Wi-Fi here to
Yeah,
run
all
this
good.
thing.
Hey,
So
do you
there's
find, Gabriel, when people engage you for a home, that they're not really 100% sure of what they want? They think they might know, but they really don't know typically. Do you find that? And what do they usually show you in terms of an example? By the way, that Great American
great,
House book is
great,
fantastic.
great, great question. A lot of people have what I call inspiration photos or pictures or something ripped out of a magazine. You
Sure.
got Pinterest and all those kind of things. So I always say if you have a photo or two, it gets me into their heads quicker.
Yep.
Now, a lot of times I might have to pull answers out of them, like you hate your kitchen. What do you hate about it? You hate the floor, you hate the cabinets, you hate the door pulls. What is it? Um, Sometimes it's a psychological thing they hate. I mean, they feel the pressure of the guy next door looking through their windows. So we can reposition that or screen them or put in transom windows or something like that. So generally, if people were to send me a photograph of the house, let me know kind of what the side yards look like and rear yard for setbacks. Give me a vision, inspiration photo of what they're looking towards. And something might have inspired them 3 doors versus 2 doors, lots of light, height, exposed beams in the kitchen or the living spaces.
Mm.
I could pretty much mask the building for them. Now, if you were coming to me as a full blown client, you'd probably be, many thousands of dollars for me to get you there that fast. But this $400 service is just, my kind of tagline here is I just try to help folks as best I can. That was in a newspaper article 20 years ago when I did probably 60 projects within my own neighborhood over many years. And a lot of it is just look to the right, look to the left. What do we got around me? How can I preserve their integrity of their design in their home and build something for you, my homeowner, without getting the neighbors mad at us? Um,
Or
if you
or
have a
or the
home with
municipality with the setbacks too.
well, a lot of times people who have an older home might have what's called deferred maintenance. I've got a monk. I'm doing a job for him right now. We're going to renovate his house, and he has the other monks he's training living in the home. Very simple lifestyle. It's like an 1890 kind of house, and the church is next door to it. So the city town is coming at him, screaming at him because his paint is peeling. There's no railings on the porch, and he wants to do an addition to fix the house so he can take care of his monks and have additional bathrooms and things like that. So it's not a big project, but it's a difficult one because he has gotten the neighborhood city building department guys mad at him to start out with because of the deferred maintenance. So my job first is to talk to the city folks and say, hey, we're pretty much going to fix all these problems, so calm down.
Hmm.
Um, each person in the jurisdiction has a job to do. A lot of times they got a chart they're looking at, checkbox, 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 and they're not really understanding. The lady's 80 years old, help her out.
Right.
So sometimes I go in and I'm the go between to calm them down because the guy's just checking the box so he can go home at the end of the day. Me, I mean, I'll share a story where I went into my
Well, I
bank.
want to share with you, we're out of time.
Okay.
So we'll press the pause button. And now I'm seeing this in a different way. Not only are you an architect, you're a mediator, you're a therapist, an artist, and more. How does somebody find you, Gaber, if they want to learn more or they want to take advantage of the design council for the $400 fee to get make
Okay.
changes in their life, really?
Well, we've set up an email of askthisarchitect@gmail.com. We have a website almost finished called askthisarchitect.com. So it's askthisarchitect@gmail.com email. Send me an email. That's where your attachments would come in. Or you're going to be able to look at the website and go askthisarchitect.com. You'll see some examples. You'll see the process. We'll probably put these podcasts, first couple of them, on there so they can get a better feel for who is this guy, Gaber Nichols. And that's how they get a hold of me. They got phone numbers of 703-836-5209. I do have another website, GaberNicholsArchitect.info. We're beginning to rebuild it. So just ask this architect .com, askthisarchitect@gmail.com, and I check it every day and we'll follow up.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the insight. Seeing every time we get together, seeing it even layers deeper in terms of what you do and how you do it. And fantastic that you're offering this to help people. You know, it's I can understand that somebody might be a little apprehensive about engaging an architect, but this makes it easy, at least a starting point.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
appreciate it.
starter.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
Thank you.
went to a restaurant, it's like an appetizer.
Yeah. And you know what? You can decide what meal you want after that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks for the
Thanks.
visit.
Thanks for being here. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.